Dave for the win.
Fool me once.
Yeah. So you should get some kind of notification since we tagged you on it.
Oh, man.
Sharing now.
Okay. Are all the on Cubase one before you?
One.
All the red
Needs to be on.
Yes.
And don't forget to mute the channel that has the bumper music. The bumper music, yeah.
It's been muted. Which intro do you want?
Well, you don't get to pick over there.
We're gonna do the original.
You don't pick it on the Cubase. You pick it on the vMix.
Because they're here and they're all muted.
They're all muted there.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You should just take them off then.
No, because whenever I export them, I have to use that. I have to unmute them and.
Yeah. We just unmute the right one.
Okay.
Okay, just share it.
You guys know what we're talking about?
We're gonna wing this.
The chapter on.
No, we're just gonna pick random chapters in here and talk about them.
We're gonna start
On a
on
wing and a prayer.
Yeah, we can go ahead and get started.
Yeah, let's go.
Afternoon, Matthew Covington.
Contains high levels of manliness. If you think you may
Start
be
over.
too weak to withstand the manliness represented in the following program, please do yourself a favor and
this
stop
happens
listening
every
now.
time.
If you choose to continue in spite of this warning, if at any time
like,
you feel
we're like, all right,
yourself
here we go.
overcome by
Let's go. Let's get going. We hit the button. It's like
Oh, we have to keep it.
start over. Like
I was just getting pumped up.
yeah,
that intro.
the people who are on Facebook are probably like, I'm gonna wait until about 3 minutes in because
Yeah.
they always mess up.
Oh man, I can feel the testosterone flowing.
What's up, Rob? Good to see you, bud. Randall, what's going on, man? This gives time for people to jump on Facebook
Yeah.
as well.
No, that's great.
Oh, in case when we pick the intros.
How do you think our wives are gonna do with the all the kids at the playground?
I don't know.
Because it was like it's your 4, my 3, and his 3. So there's 10 kids to 2 wives.
That's 5 each.
We're gonna get a panicked call in about
10
5
kids.
minutes.
10 kids with 2 wives.
They can do it.
You know what? If any wives could do it, it'd be ours.
It's good for their
And yours as well.
sanctification.
I mean, it's
I
like
mean,
my
come
grandma
on.
had 9 kids, all by herself.
Yeah.
It's true.
Alright, let's do this.
All right, let's roll. Let's do this.
Warning, the Catholic Man Show contains high levels of manliness. If you think you may be too weak to withstand the manliness represented in the following program, please do yourself a favor and stop listening now. If you choose to continue in spite of this warning, if at any time you feel yourself overcome by the manliness, stop immediately and consult your closest medical professional. And now, for the not-so-fair, faint, or frilly, we present the Catholic Man Show.
Welcome to the Catholic Man Show. We're on the Lord's team, the winning side. So raise your glass. The warning today is, if you guys do not pay attention to the warning, I'd like you to stop the podcast right now. Go ahead and rewind and start over, because there is an extra level of manliness here today in studio. I'm at a Minahan with David Niles, so we have the high level of manliness, and now we're going high octane.
Yep, stepping it up a notch.
With Mr. Sam Guzman of the Catholic Gentleman. Sam, what's up, man?
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
This is like peak manliness.
This is peak manliness.
It's like an earthquake of manliness going off in Tulsa right now.
We had an earthquake yesterday.
Yeah.
Did you
No.
feel it?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I missed it.
I caused it.
Yeah. I sneezed and we had an earthquake. Yeah, we actually did have. So no, it was 2 days ago. It was 2 days ago. We
Couple
had an
days
earthquake.
ago,
Yeah,
yeah.
we had an
The
earthquake.
tornado was yesterday.
Tornado was yesterday. Yeah, so Tim Staples comes into town, and the first day he's there, we have an earthquake. The second day he's there is a tornado that lands, or like almost lands, touches down about 3 miles from his hotel. And I'm like, man, the demons of the air are mad you are here, Tim. They are mad.
Yeah. And the earth.
And the earth in general.
Demons of the air and earth.
And earth.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I don't think the demons of the air
The
can
elemental
cause,
spirits.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think they can cause earthquakes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how all that works.
Yeah.
I'm not a demonologist, nor
Right.
do I want to be.
No, I don't want to be either. But
no,
that's exactly how you end up as one. Just so you know.
It's just like if you're a priest and you don't want to be a bishop, that's how you become a bishop.
Yep.
Exactly.
So, let's crack into our whiskey this
Yes.
afternoon. So Sam, we appreciate you coming today. We're gonna open up a bottle of High West Whiskey American Prairie Bourbon. It's a blend of bourbons. Oh, also we have Juan in studio today. Sorry, Juan, I didn't mean to neglect you. But Juan is our producer, our best friend. That without him, let's be honest, would be in a lot of trouble.
There'd be a significant quality downshift.
Sure. So this is a blended whiskey bourbon.
Okay.
From 3 different whiskeys. It's 3 different whiskeys blended together. 2 of them are from Four Roses. It's their 13 and their 6 year, I believe. And then there's also a 2-year whiskey that's blended in as well. That's not from Four Roses. I forget what the distillery is, but
This is a different distiller than Four. I mean, this isn't Four Roses product.
I don't believe that Four Roses owns this, but I don't know that for certain.
Okay.
We're on the Lord's team,
The winning side.
so raise your glass.
Cheers to Jesus.
Cheers.
Cheers, Juan.
I want to say something really sophisticated right now.
Okay,
The
do it.
nose
Ooh, do
is
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
is,
do it. Let's hear it. Let's hear your tasting notes.
almondy.
Ooh, almondy, huh?
Nice.
Okay.
Never heard that one before, have you?
I don't know.
So
Maybe not. Is
What else do you have?
almondy a word?
every time I say
It is now.
Yeah.
I said lemony last time, like one time, and Father O'Brien was
it's
like,
lemony.
"It's not lemony.
It's lemony.
Lemony is not a word."
That's because it's lemony.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's French.
That's
No,
just
it's
how you say
lemonade.
Lemonade.
Oh, lemonade. Thank you.
So the nose, it says it's strong aromas of banana seem to jump out.
Banana-y.
Yeah. There's a lot of cinnamon spice with some nice oak aromas. The oak tends towards a young oak, not a long-aged or overly charred note. Some sweetness lingers just behind that, perhaps a little bit of vanilla or wedding cake.
Wedding cake.
Yeah, do you get wedding cake?
Wedding
I'm
cakey.
always curious on what wedding cake is
versus
cake, like birthday cake or just any
Or
other
just
Anniversary cake.
anniversary, like
Cake- or
any
cake.
cake. Yeah.
I don't know. I think
Extra celebratory.
wedding cake is, I think, traditionally a white cake.
That's true.
Yes.
So it wouldn't be chocolate cake, wedding cake.
It's expensive.
Even though
It's
chocolate
overly
is way
priced
better.
cake.
Yes.
It's overly priced cake.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
that's
wedding
right.
cake is.
That smells like money and
You know,
cake.
psychologically, the more you charge for something, the better it tastes. Did you know that?
I believe that.
That makes sense.
I believe that.
This bottle of whiskey though is actually not that expensive for bourbon. It's right under $30. So for a $30 bottle,
Really?
yeah,
Not bad.
Okay.
not bad, right?
Yeah.
So the palate, it says, like if you like Four Roses, you're gonna like this. It has a little bit of rye taste to it, like a rye whiskey.
It's 90. It's a 92 proof.
So it's a little stronger.
Yeah, 46%.
The finish, it says, it's all Four Roses here with a semi-long note of rye and oak lingering with undercut of bananas. I don't get the bananas on the... I get
No,
it
I
on the
don't-
nose, but I
I
get it
don't.
on the finish. I do not get it on the finish, I meant.
No.
I could smell the bananas.
But I cannot on the finish. You don't smell the finish anyway, but I cannot taste the bananas on the finish. There's a slight bitter taste, but it's not off-putting, is what it says.
I agree.
Wow, all that.
It's probably from the 2-year that's in there.
The 2-year probably has a little bit more of a harshness to it. That's
Yeah.
probably why they use that the 6 and 13 blend. I think is the majority, and then they add a little bit of the 2. It's kind of almost like a cutter.
Yeah.
You know, the bananas is actually really strong.
On the nose.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting that once somebody tells you
Yeah,
here's what you should be smelling, but once you start doing that with whiskeys, you read the tasting notes, and that's how you actually develop your palate, I think, because then you are able to associate those type of smells with that type of taste. It's like, oh, I do smell that, and that does hit on the palate.
And there's really only a handful of smells, aromas, flavors that you're gonna. It's more than a handful, but that you're gonna pick up in a whiskey. There's the standard things, and so once you get to know those, you can kind of look for them.
Right.
And I think that helps, because if you just say, smell this, what do you smell? And the possibilities are everything, then it's harder to identify. But if you know, all right, there's a set category here, for the most part.
For me, it's harder to taste, or it's harder to give tasting notes for bourbon compared to Scotch, because Scotch is, with all the different areas within Scotland, you can kind of associate. Okay, the Highlands are going to have a little bit more of a sherry taste to it, so you can taste all those raisins and all those that kind of flavor. You get into the Isla, you're going to hit this peat and smoke.
Right.
But for bourbons, I always catch the oak, the vanilla, the
Well, whiskey isn't. It's not old enough in our country where an East Coast whiskey tastes different from a West Coast whiskey. I mean, but that's starting to happen in beer.
Yes. Yeah. There's
Beer from the
definitely-
East Coast, they brew it. They have their own flavor over there. So
East Coast IPAs, West Coast IPAs.
right, yeah.
No Coast IPAs.
By the way, I never recommend IPAs.
I know you don't. I know you're not an IPA guy.
Yeah, that's
IPAs.
too
But you're a
bad.
stout guy. You like stouts?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what we found out the
We
other
had
day?
a good chocolate porter downstairs.
We found out
Porter's
that...
my favorite.
Did you know that Guinness is actually a Protestant beer? Did you know that? Does that ruin Guinness for you? Or Ireland?
I've
or...
never been a fan of Guinness.
I haven't been a huge fan.
And they say,
but-
oh, it's so much better in Ireland. Maybe it is, but
Yeah, I've never. I mean, this might be heresy to some people, but I've never gotten into Guinness myself. It's great branding and great marketing.
Right.
It's the kind of thing you want to wear on a T-shirt or a hat.
Right.
But you don't
Very
have to
good marketing.
like it.
To me, here, whenever I drink it, it's very watery.
that's what I think. It just
Yeah.
tastes like water. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like nitroed to the point where
There's no flavor. Yeah. So
he's making. Is that gang signs, Juan? What was
Juan's
that?
letting us know that we have 2 minutes left.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like West Coast or something.
No, we're just high. We're just high. We're high class here, and we're able to get a producer here to
West
let
side,
us know that
alright.
we have 2 minutes left.
Like this.
So we're going to talk about your book today. We're really excited about the brand new book, The Catholic Gentleman. If you signed up to win a copy, what we're going to do at the very end, after the show's over, we're going to continue live streaming, and we're going to pick 2 people to win these copies of the book that Sam is going to personalize for you, sign them, and we're going to ship them to you.
The value will instantly go through the roof. Let me.
Yeah,
tell you.
it'll be
Yeah.
Pos-
That's math.
possibly a second-class relic someday.
That's guaranteed.
I was going to say, God, you don't have a whole
Well,
lot of
I
faith
mean,
in the guy.
No, it's like, well, we're not sure if we know he's, we have hope that he's going to heaven, but we don't know if the church is going to
What do
canonize
you think, the
him.
church makes mistakes at him?
No, I'm saying that we don't know if he's going to open the
Okay,
canon.
they'll canonize the guy.
process has already started, Adam.
Yeah, okay, where's St. Stephen? I need St. Stephen here.
I've always joked about putting it in my will that upon my death, my picture and biography would be mailed to every cardinal.
My body is donated to the church already.
Right.
It's already the tour schedule. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting carried away.
I'm going to open up a new charity whose, it's their job to help promote canonizations
Yes.
as just a sham to promote my own canonization.
Can you buy canonizations, by the way?
Not anymore.
They used to buy.
Yeah, they used to do that.
It
Yeah.
was a big deal, and it didn't go well.
Yeah, then Lutheranism came along, and they're like, oh, let's stop
Luther
doing
ruined
that.
everything. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we're going to cut that out.
Yeah.
So in your book, Sam, there is a chapter in here, The Brief Guide to Happy Drinking, which we're enjoying a spirit here this evening or this afternoon. So when we get back, we'll talk a little bit about that in your book. I'm really excited.
All right.
We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass.
This is good.
For a
Especially for $30.
For $30 bottle of bourbon, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It has a little harsh pepper at the.
It's okay. I like it.
I kind of do
I
too.
like that stuff.
It's not as smooth. I mean, you can tell it's not as smooth as some bourbon. Let me tell you, Eagle Rare. Let me tell you that 1792 is probably the toughest bourbon that I found to beat regarding smooth and price point. At 26,
Is it still the same price,
26
even after it all burned down?
$26.50, $27.
All right, you guys are whiskey drinkers, okay? What's your opinion? I think you covered this on a recent show, but what's your proper 12 take?
We actually had proper 12 at a Spirit and Smoke at one of our men's groups.
Yeah.
Juan, will you also?
Is that McGregor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Will you turn up Sam's mic really fast?
Say something, Mike. Sam. I think he's probably.
He's number
No.
7 years ago. Okay.
Don't touch anything right there.
No,
Juan.
don't
on
do
the
that.
actual
The
red
knobs.
box.
Oh, okay.
I think
The
he's
first
probably
one.
number 1.
The first one.
Just a little bit.
You've had me muted the whole time, haven't you?
No. We just want like.
We didn't want it to break.
Sam, can you
Okay.
check?
Yes.
Yeah.
Testing.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Excellent.
So yeah, we had that at a men's group recently. Very good.
I liked it.
I really liked it. The finish was short. It didn't have the finish. I like whiskeys that kind of linger.
Just like a McGregor fight, you know?
Yeah.
yeah.
It was about as smooth as Mayweather just smoking him right in the face.
Or Khabib, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But
Poor
yeah,
guy.
I thought it was very smooth. It didn't have a long finish like Dave said, but for the price point, it was under 30. I think
Yeah.
it was under $30.
No, it was good. It was good. I liked it.
And I had like very low expectations for it because anytime a celebrity endorses has ownership in a whiskey brand, I'm like, this isn't gonna be good.
Right.
Like this just isn't gonna be good. I don't
Yeah.
know why I think that, but I just
Because a lot of times it is good.
yeah.
Speaking of which, aren't you guys coming out with a whiskey?
No, we're not. No, I'm actually aging whiskey right now in one of my in a barrel downstairs, but
The wine.
You have a wine in
we
the
do have a
process
wine coming
still.
out, a Catholic Man Show wine.
What's the hold up on that?
Aged.
We need a couple more Patreon supporters, so we get
aged in.
aged in Buffalo Trace bourbon barrels. Or
Yeah.
wine is.
Wow.
Yeah. So
What kind of wine is it going to be?
It's a red cab aged in whiskey barrels.
Excellent.
You know what it's called?
No.
Winged Hussar's Red.
Oh, man.
How awesome is that?
I just feel inspired right now.
When we get
Where's
when we
my
get done-
horse?
Charging
Yeah.
the battle.
Yeah. When we get done, remind me because we have a bottle down there so I can show you the label and everything. It's epic,
Excellent.
dude. It's
Yeah.
so great.
Freedom. No,
Yeah.
okay.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
For Halloween,
getting to me.
For Halloween last year, my 3-year-old was a Winghauser, and the people were like,
What?
Yeah, one son
It's
was
a
a
weird-
Winged Hussar for
Looks
Halloween.
like a
It's
strange angel.
yeah, what is he doing? Anyway, let's get going with the second segment.
Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. I'm David Niles here with Adam Minahan and Mr. Sam Guzman, the Catholic Gentleman. You can find the Catholic Gentleman on the internet.
CatholicGentleman.net.
Just Google it.
Yeah.
I think all your stuff, right, Sam?
You find it all.
It all comes up if
Yeah.
you Google it.
Hey, shout out
Every
to
sort of
Sam
detail.
Holiday, who's he's listening to our show for the first time. Give
Hey.
us a shout out. So, hey, welcome, Sam. Welcome to the Catholic Man Show.
I really like his name, by the way.
Yeah.
It's got this dignity to it.
Sam Holiday.
Yeah.
I like that.
Kind of like a Doc Holiday.
I like
and
Doc. Dude,
Sam-
what an epic movie that was.
Yeah, awesome.
So are you Samuel? You're not Samwise.
I like to think of myself as Samwise, yes. In
Mhm.
fact, he's my favorite character in Lord of the Rings.
Really? Okay.
If I would be a Lord of the Rings character, it would be Samwise Gamgee.
Yeah. He was pretty solid.
There's good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and
Mhm.
it's worth fighting for.
You want to know something about Adam?
I knew you were gonna
He hates the Lord of the Rings.
We cannot be friends. I disown you.
Could you have waited to say that to the end of the show so we
No.
can make sure he doesn't walk out right now?
No.
To be honest, I have not read all of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. I was
So-
a little hyperbolic, but
Can we just excommunicate him right now?
I say you and I just beat him up.
All right.
Yeah, I'm right in the
We've
middle.
got him trapped.
No, how
All right,
about this?
all right.
Let's talk about his book. How about that? Let's do that. Sam's.
Tolkien's book?
No, Sam's
Oh,
book.
okay. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So Sam, there are times on
You know,
our show-
Tolkien actually inspired this book. I don't know if you know that, Adam.
That's why I like it so much.
Yeah.
Sam, there's times where people who listen to our show for the very first time, they are a little taken back by the fact that we open, review, and enjoy a beverage on air.
Right.
There's some people who think that that's not a good thing.
Right.
Especially, you know, we try to highlight virtue on the show regardless. You know,
Yeah.
all virtues.
And bring up temperance. We haven't had like an overt shout out to temperance lately, but
right.
we do that a lot.
Right. So, I mean, the goal is to promote temperance, to promote moderation.
Sure.
One thing to talk about it, another thing to actually exemplify it, you know, in public.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the chapters in your book talks about a brief guide to happy drinking. What are your thoughts?
Well, my rule of drinking is very Chestertonian. Chesterton, the great G.K. Chesterton, once said that, you know, drink because you're happy, but never because you're miserable. And he says if you drink because you're miserable, you'll be like the drunk in the slums. But if you drink because you're happy, you know, you'll find the true meaning of drinking. And I think that's a really wise way of looking at alcohol. I mean, let's face it, alcohol has the potential to be dangerous, but it also has the potential to bring joy to life and to enhance the happiness that we already have. So if you know, in Scripture, it says wine makes the heart glad. Christ turned water into lots of excellent wine
Yeah, a lot.
to enhance a party.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, so that you have to acknowledge both sides. You have to acknowledge that yes, there is the potential for abuse, and it can be abused. Yes, let's acknowledge that.
Right.
And yes, alcohol has done damage when it has been abused, but that does not make it inherently wrong. It is a gift from God, and we can use it in the right way. Any of God's gifts can be abused. I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not equating these two things on the level of equality, but let's think about it though. Like one of the other gifts that God's given us that's often abused is sexuality, right?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful gift from God, and
Big fan.
yes, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Anyway,
I'm particularly fond of my wife's.
Sexuality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Good.
I just really am.
yeah.
Good. I'm
That's
happy. I'm
one-
happy for you.
That's one thing about
Okay.
me.
So, so anyway, this just got really awkward, guys.
Sorry.
But
Go
you know,
ahead. Go ahead.
So, but yeah, it's a good gift from God, right?
Uh-huh.
But what does the world do? It takes it, it abuses it, it profanes it, and guess what? All kinds of bad things happen. Okay, so the point is not that sexuality and alcohol are the same thing. That's utterly ridiculous. But what I'm saying is, a good gift can be abused. That's the point I'm trying to make. And so you take alcohol, which is in Scripture many times talked about, the possibilities that it can give us to enhance the joy that God's given us, and He wants us to experience that joy. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, God is glad when we are glad, in the right way. And so alcohol has that potential to enhance our happiness, and if we receive it with gratitude, enjoy it with moderation, and embrace it as an act of celebration
Mm-hmm.
of the good gifts of God, of life, it can be a wonderful gift. And but absolutely, moderation is the key,
Right.
and drinking for the right reasons. I mean, think about, there's a wonderful word that we've often forgotten about in the modern world, and that's conviviality. And conviviality means the joy of being together. And
Wait, say it again. Conviviality.
conviviality, the joy of
I
sharing
did not know
life
that
Shared
word.
life.
together. Yes. Life
Mm.
together. That's
Yeah.
essentially what it means. And when you're with friends and you drink together, it's a shared experience, and it enhances this wonderful joy of being together. And really, that's when you look at alcohol, like that's kind of the best experience you can have of it is when you're with friends,
Yeah.
and you're enjoying each other's company, and you're sharing a drink, and you're giving thanks to God for your togetherness and for the gifts of creation. That's the best that it can be right there. But when you're depressed and you're isolated and you're alone and you're bitter and you're angry at the world and you're drinking, it's not going to end well.
No.
It's not going to end well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Never drink when you're angry, sad,
no,
upset.
right.
Drink when you don't have to. So I think that's another
Exactly.
one that G.K. Chesterton said, didn't he?
Yes. When you don't have to.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But you want to.
Right.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think, Dave, we talk about this all the time is being able to know thyself. There's some people who struggle with alcoholism, and alcoholism has affected many, many, many families throughout history.
Yeah.
And sometimes moderation or the virtue of temperance means zero alcohol for some
Exactly.
people. And to the men who do that, we should say, yes, I'm glad that you know yourself. That is something you should not tempt yourself into. If you know your weaknesses, you should not, hang. If you're an alcoholic, don't hang out at the bar.
Right.
Right. And then also part of that is, if you have a friend who is that guy, don't
don't cause him to stumble.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. You don't
drink it. Don't drink around him.
do things that he can feel comfortable. You don't have to. Oh, no, we can't drink in front of him. I mean, whoever it is, you got to know him.
Right.
But every now and then, it'd be great to just do something where that's not something he has to even worry about.
And St. Paul is big on this in multiple epistles where he talks about the freedom we have as Christians, but also the responsibility that comes with that freedom. Freedom always involves responsibility. And you have a responsibility as a Christian, first and foremost, not to violate your own conscience. So if it bothers you, the thought of, like, maybe you have a family history there, maybe not. Maybe it just bothers you. Then don't do it. Don't do it. Don't violate your conscience because, well, everyone else is doing it. No, if you think if it's not something that you feel right doing, then do not do it.
Yeah, good
and
point.
don't apologize for that. And likewise, as you mentioned, if someone has a problem with that, do not scandalize them. Don't use your freedom as a Christian to scandalize someone else. So if you know someone has a problem with drinking, don't go over to their house and bring a bottle of wine and drink all day at their house. Don't do it. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. We have freedom as Christians, but it's not. We should always take into account our brothers and sisters in Christ and drink in a responsible way.
Let's go into another chapter.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah, because this is the man gear. This book is our man gear for this episode.
One of the chapters you have in here is putting the man in gentleman. What do you mean by that?
Well, you have to be a man in order to be a gentleman. In our confused culture these days, so some people might take issue with that.
Right.
Yes,
but
definitely some people would take issue with it.
Yeah, no, but facts are facts. Biology is biology. You have to be a man to be a gentleman. But beyond that, I mean, I think what gentlemanliness means to me is that strength under control. And the analogy I like to use is, if anyone listening to this has ever been to a gym and you're working out, there's always these, guys who are really trying to impress everybody else.
Hondos.
Yeah, right. So you pick up more weight than you can handle, and you barely get off a couple reps, and then boom, you drop the weights so loud that the entire gym can hear you, and everyone's like, oh wow, look at that hot shot, but what he's trying, he's got a little bit of strength, but he doesn't have any control over it, so he's just throwing the weights down. And then you see the guy over in the corner who's not drawing any attention to himself. But, man, he picks up like an 800 pounds and gets off like 3 reps. And then he just sets it down ever so gently. And you're like, wow, that guy is a beast, And it's just, but what it is, though, is it's strength under control. And that's what gentlemanliness is to me, is it's strength that's channeled and controlled and disciplined in a way that is oriented towards the good of others, service towards others. And so to be a gentleman, you first have to have that manliness, that strength.
Mm-hmm.
But then it needs to be refined and channeled and controlled.
I like it.
All right, so when we get back, we're going to keep talking about gentlemanliness, virtue, manliness.
All things manly.
We're on the Lord's team,
The winning side.
so raise your glass.
So wouldn't that be like meekness?
Exactly.
In like meekness is strength. Is another way of putting meekness is like strength under control.
Yeah, it's the 800-pound ox
Right.
that knows how to obey,
Yeah.
that knows how to pull in the right direction. And yeah, that's exactly what it is. We think meekness is weakness. It's not.
But it's not at all.
Strength that's channeled
Yeah.
and directed.
I like that. I like that.
Conviviality.
Oh, I don't want you looking at my phone.
Fine, I have my own.
Let's all
It's
be
all-
good moderns.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
Look at our phones.
Okay, let's have some tech-gather time. Okay.
This is real conviviality here.
Yeah. Yeah, but so have you ever heard of a man named Matthew Arnold?
Yes.
He does he works for the Virgin Most Powerful Radio with Jesse Romero and those Terry Barber and all those guys.
Okay.
He came. To
Isn't he the one who started the new evangelization?
No, that's
No,
that's
Matthew.
Matthew Christoph.
Christoph.
Oh, okay. Different Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew Arnold though he came to Oklahoma Men's Conference one year, and he's the one that we talked to meekness about.
Yeah, okay.
And when he described what meekness was, I realized I had no idea what that meant.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
I thought
like,
it was being a
You know,
pushover.
I realized that
Yeah.
meekness was something totally different than what I had thought, which he basically said that, meekness is strength under control.
Yes.
It's like Jesus had in the agony in the garden, he had legions of angels behind him that could stop everything around him.
Right.
And he had all this power, all this strength,
yeah.
but he had control.
Another image I mean, like, it's like you take a hose and you turn on the faucet coming out of your house, and water's just spraying everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Then you attach a hose to it, it's channeled, and man, way more power, way more pressure, and it can do something useful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same with men. It's like when we just have this raw power, and it's just not channeled. It's just everywhere. We don't do anything useful with it. But when it's channeled and directed and controlled, then God can use that to accomplish great things. And really, that's what it comes down. That's what gentlemanliness is. Like, why is that image so appealing? Because our culture we've fluctuated to extremes.
Mm-hmm.
The complete weakness and passivity, or just like raw macho masculinity, like smash everything, bull in a china
Right.
shop.
Type of
Yeah.
Like, and there's got to be a middle ground, and that middle ground is what I would say is the Catholic gentleman, where you have that strength, yes, but it's channeled and disciplined and directed towards the good of others.
Your hose analogy just reminded me of the last time we were over at your house and we had that big bonfire.
Yes.
And the tree above the fire started to burn a little bit, and we had the
Oh,
hose, and
your
we
rate
were
is going through
trying
it?
to get the water high enough to put it out.
That was a lot of fun, though.
Yeah.
It was
Anyway.
fun. That was fun.
Anyway,
you get
well-
guys together with fire, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Because that was a big,
Dangerous.
That was a
But fun.
big,
But fun.
a big
Big
pile of things that we burned.
I'm about to have another one.
Sweet.
Let's go.
That tree's coming down this time.
All right, Juan, you ready?
I'll let you pick it this time.
Huh?
I'll let you pick the... Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. We exist to make one laugh. That is why we exist. We're here with Sam Guzman of the Catholic Gentleman talking about
I
his
did
new
not
book.
know that. Did not realize. I've been
Now
missing.
you
You've been
know.
misinformed this whole
The-
all 150 some odd episodes that we have done.
You know what? I've wondered sometimes when we do things like, why are we doing this?
But now you
Now
know,
I know.
to
I
make
get
one
it.
laugh. Yes.
We should have really written out a mission statement. It would have been helpful for me, you know,
The Catholic Man Show exists for the purpose of
For the purpose
making
of
Juan laugh.
So
Okay.
We're here with Sam Guzman,
Looks
the Catholic
like it's
Gentleman.
working.
He's the author of the new book, The Catholic Gentleman, Living Authentic Manhood Today.
I like to call it the official book of every Catholic man.
The official book of every man. That is...
Well, you got Dale Alquist to write the foreword in it, so that's pretty sweet.
Yes.
That's a win.
I've been
It's
trying
basically like having Chesterton write your forward.
As
But-
close as you can
Right.
Yeah, as close as you can
I'm
get.
going to start sending him all my emails to see if he'll just write a small foreword to each email that I send and like, here, pass that on when you're done.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
It's a great idea.
Wouldn't that be epic? Wouldn't that be epic?
Say who's Dale Elquist.
Oh, Dale Alquist, for those who do not know, he's the president of the G.K. Chesterton Society. Is he the president? Is that what he is?
Yes.
He's like the guy in... He is the society.
The head honcho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the guy in charge, whatever
We have a
his official
Monsignor
title
here
is.
in Tulsa, Monsignor Gallus, who is... Dale Alquist has come in just to view Monsignor Gallus's book collection of Chesterton.
He's come in a couple times.
And he is impressed.
I need to meet this man.
Yeah, well, he's a super
St.
holy
Bernard's
man. Yeah,
of
St.
Clairvaux.
Bernard. Yeah.
He's the pastor over there.
He's digitizing a bunch of Chesterton's work for Dale Alquist, I think, for the Chesterton Society.
So
Yeah.
he takes time just to type out these books that he's got and upload. There's like
Because
4 of them.
He has some
and
from his own library, from Chesterton's library. It has his stamp in the book.
and some
Oh
of his,
man, guys.
Yeah.
he's
I
got
have
like
a serious
his
fanboy
handwriting.
moment here.
Some of his doodles are in there, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Oh.
Yeah, it's so
pretty
cool.
awesome.
Oh.
So, anyway.
So
Okay. All right. Well.
I loved just reading through this book. In the first few chapters, you cover a lot of ground. I mean, it's everything from muscle cars to rites of initiation.
Yes.
And so that's what I wanted to ask you about. How is it that we can return? Do you have any good ideas how to bring back the rite of initiation into manhood? Because it's so important,
Yeah,
I think.
I agree.
You know, that's why we have 20-year-old men who aren't acting like men. It's because they don't. Nobody has said this is what's expected of you now. You know,
Right.
welcome. You just so you know, now you're a man. You earned it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And maybe they don't feel like they don't deserve it. So what can we do?
Yeah. Well, so there's a couple things I want to say on that regard. First of all, if you're a father, I think a father's role in many ways is to challenge his sons to go above and beyond. Mothers are about comfort and safety. Dads are about stepping into the unknown and helping your sons cross that threshold. Of course we love our sons. Of course we show them affection. And of course we show love to them, and we should do that. But we also should challenge them. Not in a cruel but in a way that says, look, you know, part of becoming a man is stepping into the unknown and rising to the occasion. So if you have a son, look for ways to do that. Don't just allow them to kind of relax into safety and complacency. Encourage them in a truly encouraging way to face their fears and to overcome them. So maybe when they're 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, it might be going down the big slide.
Yeah,
you
or
know?
jumping off the diving board or something.
Right. But your job is not to make them, oh, it's okay, you know, we'll do that some other time. No, just help them work through that. Look, you know, we all have to face things that we're afraid of, and allow your sons to learn how to do that in an early age, to face those fears and overcome them. I think that's a responsibility that fathers have, is to encourage, just not coddle them, but also at the same time in a loving way to encourage them to face their fears. Okay. And at some point when they reach a certain age, that will mean growing up. That will mean leaving the nest. That will mean leaving the support of mom and dad and launching out into the world and becoming their own man. And that can be a scary thing sometimes. I mean, I remember when I first graduated from college, I was living at home throughout college, and I was also engaged to my now wife. But 3 days after I graduated from college, I left home and moved to Colorado, where my wife was, and I got an apartment and I started looking for jobs, and it was absolutely terrifying because I had been at home for almost forever.
Sure.
And it was tremendous pressure on me, and there was a ton of fears and anxieties, but I had to face them and I had to grow up, and that facing that is part of being a man. So, but your responsibility as a father is to prepare your son for that moment when he makes that break from your support system into a life of his own. But second, if you're already a man, and maybe your parents never really helped you do that, They never really helped you cross that threshold, for better or worse. And there's various reasons why parents might not have done that. But I think it's healthy to look for ways to push yourself, to challenge yourself, to step out into the unknown and set those challenges for yourself. So maybe there's something you've always dreamed of doing. Maybe it's starting a business, or maybe it's studying a martial art, or maybe it's, some other challenge that you've always dreamed of, but there's always been that part of you that's just afraid, and so you make excuses. Well, maybe not here, it's just not the right time or whatever. And step out, take that challenge, embrace that opportunity, and lean into it, and you will find that on the other side of that is confidence and courage. And I think every man doubts his own manhood until he's proven it to himself and to other men that he can do it. He can face something hard, he can face his fears, and he can overcome it. And so I think if you've never had someone in your life push you in that way, then unfortunately it's kind of up to yourself to set those challenges for yourself.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that, again, is a newfound confidence, a newfound courage, and a newfound ability to face challenges and overcome them. And sometimes it's a matter of God's will. Maybe God's calling you to do something, but you're just resistant to take that step. Other times it's just maybe something, it's just a matter of personal growth. Like, I just need to do this to grow as a man. Okay. And that's different for everyone. But I think that's where it's found.
So before you go, I have a question about this really fast.
Okay.
So as a man, as a father, you're supposed to be a protector, provider, establisher. Being an establisher, making sure that your kids are established on their own, so that way they can face the world. Part of the we used to be able to have these rites of initiation for boys, whereas now you're 14, 15, 16 years old. We're gonna go out camping in the woods, or we're gonna go do something that's going to be strenuous, that's going to be tough, and you're going to have to achieve it and overcome it, and then you become what it's a ceremonial. You're now a man.
Yes.
Okay. We don't have that anymore, which is just, I think, is a terrible thing for our kids. I think we're doing a disservice to them for our sons. But I also heard recently a guy talk about, as an establisher, you're supposed to be able to keep your kids, establish them away from you. So he actually suggested to take your kids out with one of your best friends, and have your best friend take them out as a kid, and not you as a dad not be there, because that way they're not relying on dad anymore. The whole process of this initiation
is that I've trained you
to go
away from me,
away from me, and not be a part of who I under my protection.
Well, I don't know if the movie 300 is historically accurate, but in that movie, they would send the little Greek boys.
Wait, you don't know that it is?
Well, how
it is.
Okay, you're right. I shouldn't have questioned it, but they send him out for the night, and he's got to go
survive.
And,
right.
He's got to kill the guy all by himself.
At 7, they start this process.
Native Americans did this.
Right.
Australian Aborigines did this.
I think it was a podcast from The Art of Manliness that I listened to whenever he was talking about rituals, or he was talking about some kind of rite of initiations.
Right.
But he was talking about this idea of no, you shouldn't be a part of your son's initiation, because the idea of establishing your son is getting him away from your authority, your protection.
Yeah. Where he can fail. He doesn't have the safety net of dad.
What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think there's something powerful about that. I mean, that's really what the crossing the threshold into manhood is cutting away, and sometimes in a violent way, all of those supports that you've relied on through your whole maturation process, and throwing you out into the unknown. And again, in our modern world, this looks different for everybody, but you have to find that freedom, that responsibility to make your own choices, make or break, complete. If I make the wrong choice, I die. That's kind of how these old traditional initiation rituals went, was you fail, you die.
Right.
And it was that radical. Now, I don't recommend that nowadays, but I would say that there comes a point where you have to launch out on your own, make your own choices, and accept the responsibility for the consequences of those choices.
Yeah, I think it has to do with a lot of learning to become uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're in a comfortable life here in America, middle class society. We We have electricity. We flip on a light, lights come on.
And
we have
learning
AC.
how to endure pain.
Yes.
Like in the book, you use an example, which is of a coming of rite ceremony, which is obviously extreme.
Brutal. Yeah.
Where these, I forget what the tribe was, but they would have the boys be stung by these bullet ants.
Yes. I mean, they weave these gloves and weave bullet ants into the gloves, and then you stick your hands in. You got to dance around for, I don't remember how long it is, but it's brutal and extreme pain from just one bite of those ants. Well, you're getting like 50 bites,
And it lasts 24 hours.
Yes.
And you have to do that like 20
You're sweating
times.
and vomiting and like it's.
You do it once, that's not it. You got to do it 20 times.
Yeah.
Well, I don't recommend that, but because that's a little intense.
Yeah, but if you survive that, you know you're a man.
You know you're a man.
Yeah,
I am a
so it
man.
serves a purpose.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
How many more segments?
Uno.
It goes too fast.
I know it goes way too fast. I mean, we could probably do one more after. We could probably do 2 more segments. One more for our Patreon if you want.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you're in.
Yeah.
I have to go for that one though.
Okay. Come on.
I'll be going for that one.
Why? ¿Por
I have
qué?
to pick up the kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
Where are they?
With my in-laws.
they're locked in their closet.
I told them I'm gonna drop them off in the 24-hour Adoration chapel that's here, and just
leave them.
leave them with the best babysitter in the world.
Yeah. And I said that'll get DHS called on you, bro. Don't do that.
Something tells me he's probably not the best babysitter in the world. He would probably say, "That's why I gave them to you."
Free will. That's why I give you free will.
Well, he'd say, "That's why I gave them to you."
Yeah.
So you can watch over him. Yeah.
No, that what we were saying though, like it's really about. I think one of the biggest problems in the modern world today is we've tried to achieve like a large part of what modernity is trying to take all of our technological power and separate actions and consequences, which is really a denial of reality. You know, I mean, a law of nature is action and reaction, right?
Mhm.
You throw a ball at the wall, and all things considered, no other forces involved, it'll bounce right back with the same exact force, right? So, or you, but what have we done? We've tried to separate actions from consequences. So, even sexuality, like we want to do that with no children involved. We
Right.
want to sever those things, but we've also done that in many other ways too, where it's like, I want to eliminate all STDs or all these things, you know, that are consequences of sin, essentially. So what initiation, though, is facing reality and actions and consequences in their rawest and realest form without any buffers. No safety nets. No one to step in and save you from any pain whatsoever. And that's a powerful thing when you because what do parents do? Their whole purpose in life is to mitigate to be a buffer between reality and you, because
Right.
you're innocent, you're vulnerable, you're weak as a child, and you're growing in strength, but you're still very vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, you're not
parents
ready
are-
for the full world.
Right, and so your parents are like that buffer zone between you and the harsh reality of nature, essentially. So initiation is they're stepping out of the way, and there's no longer anything between you and the way things are. And once you can face that brutal reality and you can survive it, then you've crossed that threshold in the middle.
Mhm.
So that's what initiation is.
I like it.
Are,
One.
are you gonna bring up one more, or
Yeah, I'm gonna bring one more up.
Okay.
Chapter?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll probably bring up one more, and that'll definitely be the end of the segment.
Yeah, I'm sure. Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. I'm David Niles here with Adam Minahan, Sam Guzman. Thanks for being here, Sam. Juan, of course, is present. Thanks for being here, Juan. So, Sam, just when I actually was lucky enough to receive your book in the mail from the publisher. Every now and then, publishers will send us books so that we will review them.
I put your address on there.
Yeah, which is great because
he wins.
I like free books. But anyway, so I got it the other day. I just got it this week, so it was really opportune with the timing of it.
Impeccable.
Yeah,
some would say.
Almost. But just reading through the chapter titles, I was showing it to my wife, and she's like, "Man, I want to read this book," just because you just cover all of these things. I think it's true what you said. It's the official book of
every Catholic man.
Of every Catholic man, yeah. So you even cover things like style advice from a saint.
Yeah.
So what is some good style advice? Without giving it all away, of course, because people need to go out and get the book.
Yeah, they need to buy the book, but
there's no way we could cover everything. So what is some good style advice?
Yeah, the saint in question was Saint Francis de Sales.
Okay.
And believe it or not, it was actually a young woman who wrote to him. But believe it or not, I mean the advice applies to everyone. But believe it or not, she wrote to him and she's like, "I'm in high society here." This is 1600s or whatever it was, and I feel very uncomfortable dressing to the nines for all these balls and parties that I'm invited to, and I think she was a noblewoman of some sort, and she's like, "I feel like this is contrary to the values of the gospel to take all this so seriously." And basically what he said was, the true Christian needs to be the best dressed person in the room. Now he qualified that by saying, essentially in so many words, he said that you need to have a dignified simplicity about you.
Yeah.
You don't need to be gaudy and flashy, but you can still have this simple elegance about you.
Mm-hmm.
And you shouldn't draw attention to yourself, but you also shouldn't be a frizzy-haired frump either, And it's true, the same principle applies to men. And I think some men associate humility with shabbiness and not caring. That's really what pleases God. Well, not necessarily. Now, that doesn't mean you have to, wear tailor-made Italian suits that are 6 figures either, or not 6 figures, 4 figures.
If you're spending $100,000 on a suit, I want to talk to you because we have some bills that we'd like to pay.
Yeah.
Donations. They're taking Patreon supporters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Goes to a good cause.
Yeah.
Yes, you need to create a new tier for the 6-figure donors.
There's 6-figure donors.
They can come to
No
your house.
gift is too big. No gift.
For 6 figures, I'll fly to Italy and get someone a suit.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, go ahead.
4 figures. No. So anyway, the point is though, that we need to be dignified. We need to be elegant, in a sense, but that varies based on context.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in rural Wyoming, okay, wearing a 3-piece suit with glossy shoes as you go to mass with the cows may not be appropriate.
Yeah. Maybe it still is, but maybe not.
But maybe not.
Yeah.
In such a, maybe having clean jeans, it depends. But
it depends on your economics. Maybe
Exactly.
Maybe it would be improper for you to buy a 3-piece suit because it would be financially put your family in financial difficulties.
Exactly. So it's not about what you wear so much as how you wear it and the intention with which you're wearing it. And I think it's really goes back to that. Now, a lot of people say, well, it's just about the heart, so it doesn't matter what I wear. No, actually, I think what you wear is a reflection of your heart. Mm-hmm. And I've actually seen somebody, we used to go to this old parish in Wisconsin, and there was a couple there that always wore jeans and a t-shirt, but they wore it in such a way that I was just blown away by their humility. Their whole demeanor just conveyed like holiness and it's hard to describe until you encounter that. But in no way were they being irreverent by wearing this. You could tell they were not well off financially in any way. And yet their whole demeanor conveyed respect for the Eucharist and just this deep humility. Mm-hmm. And I just remember looking at them, and I was wearing my suit coat and everything. I just remember thinking, like, that's the carriage with which I want to carry myself, regardless of what I'm wearing. I want to reflect that humility and that deep love for our Lord that you could just sense exuding from them. So really, if you can't afford a nice suit, don't stress it. Don't stress it. You can still show respect and But if you can,
or get a suit at a thrift store.
Yeah,
you can get suits that are not
I've
not
done that before.
expensive.
So again, so much of the spiritual life is about finding that balance. Holiness is about balance.
Yeah.
It's not about extremes. It's about balance. And I think there is a way to carry yourself well so that whatever you're wearing is dignified. But we should also remember that clothes are a form of communication.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in a context where there are certain expectations that say this is what's respectful, and if you show up in torn jeans and muddy shoes and a stained t-shirt, it's going to be extremely disrespectful.
The virtue of decorum plays a role here.
Then
Right.
don't
Yeah.
do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, the culture
Right.
largely defines these things.
Right. So follow the dictates of the context in which you find yourself, but also carry yourself with a dignity and simplicity about where you're not drawing attention to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the word modesty that you've seen thrown about all over. That's what it means, really, is not drawing attention to yourself. And there's some people who dress in such a way where they think they're being humble and like they're showing their holiness, but they're wearing it on their sleeve by wearing like really tacky,
Right.
And that's actually not really modest, because you're still drawing attention to yourself, but just in an inverted way. And so I think really modesty, humility in dress is about blending in.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And I think that's where the mean is found. But anyway.
So we had a debate about this on our private Facebook pages just for our Patreon supporters a while back when we were talking about, we had shoe polish as the man gear. And we were talking about, polishing your shoes before Mass and that kind of stuff. And so people were saying, well, I don't like to do that because I don't want to bring attention to myself. And so I think it's really important that that's not what it's about. I mean, if that's why you're polishing your shoes,
Right.
you shouldn't do it.
Right.
But you should polish your shoes in order to honor Jesus, essentially, with as much as you can. Present the best version of yourself in Mass. It's like, wouldn't you? So some people wear a suit to every wedding they go to, but they won't do it they won't wear a suit to Mass. It's like, so you think that this wedding, even if it's a secular wedding, is more important than Mass? I mean,
Right.
it's essentially what you're saying. So I think that's one of my things is that let's bring up the attire, raise the attire at Mass a little bit.
What can you do? Like, what can you reasonably do? Like, based on your circumstances in life.
Right.
What's your intention,
Mm-hmm.
and how is that reflected in your clothing? Okay, because your outward appearance is a reflection of your internal state, and again, it's an act of respect to others, or if that's the way you're approaching that, that's the best way. So
Okay, I got one more thing to say, Adam, before you can.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can bring it home. I'm reading Pinocchio to my kids by Carlo Collodi, the original. Not the
Disney.
not the Disney. Ridiculous. But one of the things that Geppetto says to Pinocchio in the very beginning is that it's not fine clothes that make the gentleman, but clean clothes. So it's not about what kind of suit are you wearing, but how well are you taking care of the clothes that you have? How well are you presenting yourself with what you have available?
there's an old saying that clothes make the man. I like to invert that and say the man makes the clothes, because it's really about who you are and how your clothes reflect that, much more than what you're wearing.
Yeah.
Something to piggyback on what we're wearing is courtesy. You talk about courtesy in the book
Yes.
too, which is something that guys just have forgotten what to do. It's so crazy.
Well, it's offensive, Adam.
It's
Okay.
it's so crazy how I'll walk into my offices and like I will hold the door open for see another lady. We're walking in about the same time. I open the door and I let her go first, and she's almost so shocked that I would be willing to do that. Because she's just society today isn't opening doors for ladies anymore.
Almost sometimes suspicious. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, they're almost like
Yes.
what do you
What's your
Like,
agenda?
Thank
Right.
you.
What's your angle?
Thank you so
I
much.
think-
Why are you?
But isn't it crazy that men, we have fallen so short in courtesy?
Yeah. I mean, I say manners are ritualized respect. They're codified ways of showing respect to others. And so when you have manners, when you have courtesy and respect for others, it's a way of saying you possess dignity, and I am going to reflect that in the way that I treat you. And traditionally, societies have had ways of, again, codifying this, like, this is how you show respect to others by doing this, this, and this. Now, of course, a woman can open a door for herself.
Sure.
Right.
She's not that, I mean, you'd have to be pretty weak to not open a door for yourself. But it's not about weakness or strength or anything. It's about respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what manners are, is it's ritualized respect.
Yeah. And like some of the things that I try to do, and I don't do this all the time because I just forget, but that's just my own failure to do this. But stand up when a woman enters the room, or when a priest enters the room.
Yeah.
Get on your feet.
Sam, congratulations on this success of the book so far. It's been killing it. So, guys, if you do not have a copy of this book, go get it right now. Amazon had a deduction in price recently.
Yes.
I just saw that. So make sure to go get it right now. The Catholic Gentleman, Living Authentic Manhood Today. Sam, thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
We're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass.
Cheers to Jesus.
Mine's the only one that's empty. Maybe that's a bad sign.
Well, I filled mine up again. Have some more. I mean, if you want.
yeah.
If you
No,
want.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I need
I
to...
can stay now.
Oh, you can stay?
Yeah.
Sweet. You want to do another, 10 minutes? Or are you done, Sam?
Oh, I'm good.
You good? Okay.
Yeah, let's
Little
do it.
more?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Before we cut...
Yeah, what
Hey,
did
we
you need
didn't-
your
we
laptop
didn't
for?
do a shout out to a Patreon.
Okay.
So do it.
Well, you don't need to do it now because
I was going to do the
We just forgot to do
the
it.
live picking the person for the giveaway.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause
Okay.
we
That's-
need to do that
right.
before he leaves because
So
he
you
has to
can sign it.
personalize.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And are you sweating, Sam? Because we can clean your sweat with the book. That way it's got hiked up.
It
in
is
value.
hot in here, or maybe it's just because my suit. I don't know. Is it hot to you guys? Are you warm?
I'm good.
I'm okay.
I'm all right. It is warm, but I am surviving.
1 out of 74.
Would you like some water, Sam? That would be good for you. Water, aqua. You know you want it.
Sure. I appreciate that.
The glasses have a gold rim around them.
Oh,
It's super fancy.
They do.
Yeah.
I was over here drinking out of them one time, and there's a sticker on the bottom that came off on my finger, and I looked at it and said 24 karat gold rimmed, and I was like, dang. Haley, you got some nice glasses over here.
All right, 57. So 57. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ethan Potter. Ethan Potter's our first one.
Ethan
Potter.
Potter.
Get this.
Pate.
Oh, yes. Did you say potty?
Ethan Potter,
Potter.
Is going to win one of the books.
You are the Potter.
I am the clay.
Yes.
117. Okay, so 101, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Jesse Filer?
Filer. Jesse Filer.
Jesse Filer is the other one.
Congratulations, Ethan and Jesse.
Yeah, both of you guys will be getting a... I'll have to email you. Hopefully the email that you guys provided to us is accurate. If not, you will not be getting them. But, so you guys will have Sam personalize the books to you, and we'll get in touch with you and be able to ship them to you. I'm gonna go turn on the AC real quick. Talk
Okay, so we're gonna do one more segment. Well, we'll have to turn off the live stream if it's for Patreon, right?
Yeah, we'll turn off the live stream.
Okay, so I'm just just go ahead and turn it off.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, guys. We are gonna record something, but it'll be for our Patreon supporters. So support us on Patreon.
All right, I stopped the streaming.
¿Qué pasó? Here you go, Sam.
Thank you.
Wow, I feel like halfway. I should have feel the other way.
Why does Sam look like he's gonna make me an offer I can't refuse?
I just saw that.
All right. Let's hit.
Take off the jacket, dude.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading the comments here.
No, you're fine.
Having just some together time.
Together. I heard that from some of my younger cousins a couple years ago, and made me so mad.
Maybe throw up in my mouth a little bit.
Yeah, just the fact that is a.
This guy says I'm in rural Wyoming, so he must have gotten my reference there. That's awesome.
I'm gonna be in rural Wyoming this summer.
We are.
Gillette. You're going?
Are you going to? Oh, Michigan.
Yeah. Are you coming? You coming?
Yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay. I wasn't sure if you were still coming.
Yeah, I'm just gonna come the week after.
We'll talk about it later. No.
Gillette. I've been to Gillette.
Yeah. That's where my father-in-law lived growing up. He grew up there.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's where Father Ripker is from.
Yeah. That's correct.
So
Oh man, they don't build them like they used to. Look at that.
Dang.
Wow.
Where is that?
see?
It's Norway's largest stave church, built in the 1200s and still in use.
That's sweet.
Nice.
Wow.
What's a stave church?
It's a Norwegian style of architecture that is made out of wood.
Well, I like it.
So a cool story about like holiness being in the middle, balance.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I was speaking with one of the exorcists here, and he said that he has a friend that drinks a lot of
Mountain Dew?
Mountain Dew.
I know this
You know the
story.
He used to drink a lot of a Mountain Dew, and during one of his exorcisms, the demon made fun of that.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, he didn't make fun of it. He said, stop torturing me and I will have a truckload of Mountain Dew delivered to your door tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
He's making fun of it, in my opinion.
well, I don't think he was trying to mock him.
No,
he was saying like trying
get
to
it to
bribe
stop.
him,
Oh.
bribing him like,
He's trying to get him
please
to
stop
stop.
torturing me and I will have a whole truckload delivered tomorrow.
You know, it'd be fascinating to see what would have happened if you just said, okay.
I think it probably would have.
Probably would
shut
have.
up. I mean, that's the thing.
Yes, that is crazy.
But then what he was saying is that then the priest stopped drinking Mountain Dew at all, right? So he went from one extreme to the other,
Yes.
and he told him, no, you keep doing. I mean, it's like don't just stop because something happened. You gotta keep the balance. You know, the whole is
Right.
Although there's no, there's
in the middle.
you can drink 0 Mountain Dew and that's fine.
It is delicious.
The one-
Or it
one thing
used to
I've-
be. I haven't had it.
One
in so
thing I've
long.
thought about before is like, oh, this idea of moderation, the middle way. It's like sounds like lukewarm to me.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, you call it virtue, or you might call me lukewarm. I'm just being virtuous with my piety.
But,
you know,
but why are you doing
Hey,
it? That's,
Juan, will
that's
you
really...
hit,
Right.
hit like stop recording, and then hit